Namaste and welcome back. In this video, we will be looking at Parasarita Padottanasana, the wide-legged forward fold with all its 4 variations A, B, C and D. So begin by inhaling into the foot position and keeping the feet just about 3 feet apart. Of course, it's going to vary according to your height, but roughly just keeping the feet wide apart with the feet remaining parallel and the big toes angled slightly in from the heels so you can press out and against the soles of the feet. Exhale, fold forward, bring the hands down for Parasarita A. You're going to inhale here and look up, catch the breath, lift the head. And then exhale, you're going to fold forward as much as feels comfortable. The neck remains long and the drishti is the nasagre drishti or the gaze at the tip of the nose. You can use the arm muscles to help pull the chest lower and really get this nice forward bend and keeping the spine long and the legs firm and grounded into the floor. Keep in mind that there's one line between the wrist, the elbows and the shoulders. So if the elbows come out too much, bring them in slightly and then use the rules of adjustment that feel most natural to you as far as the leg distance goes and try and get the head as much as possible close to the floor. Now once again, there requires some fine-tuning here. You don't want the head to touch the floor too easily. You want it to be a bit of a challenge. So to make it a little bit of a challenge, what you can do is bring the feet a little bit closer. And now when you come down again, you can find that sweet spot where your whole spine can lengthen and in such a way that your neck can be completely relaxed. And to come out of the posture, you'd have to push through your hands and inhale, lengthen the spine, look up at your nose at Nasagra Drishti, draw your belly in, and then take your hands to your hips. Inhale, come all the way up, and then exhale. We can come back and go into Parasarita B. For the B version, we first take the arms out and then bring them back on the creases of the hips. Just inhale and exhale, fold down and allow the head to droop down if possible, touch the floor. If not, we keep this engagement in the legs, keeping the neck nice and long, keeping the hands not pulling in too closely, but just loose by the sides. Excellent. We're going to stay in this position for 5 deep breaths, and when you've finished your last exhalation, you can inhale, come all the way up with the hands on the hips, look up and exhale here. And now we'll take a look at the C version. Ekam inhale, hands wide, dve. We're going to clasp the fingers behind, broaden across the collarbones, lift the chest, really take a deep breath in, draw the Uddiyana bandha in so that the navel kisses the back of the spine, and then exhale, folding forward. Try and take the hands over the head as much as feels comfortable. So the idea is to create a lot of space just in the upper back. So try and pull the fingertips away from the shoulder blades, creating lots of space between the ears and the shoulder blades while still keeping the quadriceps engaged, the whole leg foundation nice and still and steady. And keep breathing for 5 deep breaths here. Ensuring that you find this stability and comfort, this Sthira Sukhamasana in this posture. When you're done with 5 deep breaths, belly breaths, you can exhale, and to inhale, you can come all the way up, reach up, draw the belly in, exhale, hands on the waist. The last position, Parasarita D, involves just taking the big toes with the fingertips and bending at the elbows. Inhale, head up. Exhale, allow the elbows to be parallel with the knees and really allow the top of the head once again to try and touch the floor. The trick here is to really engage the quadriceps and send the thighs back And as far as the forward bend is concerned, you can use your hands as levers to really engage the entire back chain, keeping the muscles of the back, the hands nicely taut. So it feels like you're using your hands to pull your chest, to pull your torso closer and closer towards the floor. Keep leaning forward to counteract this tendency to slide backwards, and keep the rhythm, the longevity, and the quality of the breath even. Inhale, come halfway up, look halfway, clarify for a second, hands on the hips, and inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, Samastitihi. Great. Great. So we're going to have a look at some of the common mistakes. The first is that the legs are way too wide, as if you were coming into a splits. Now, you can come slightly closer in and your head can be able to touch the floor if that feels accessible to you. But at the same time, the priority is not the head touching the floor, it's more of a hamstring stretch as well as a spine stretch. So the other common mistake that we see is that the feet are too close in together, almost like a normal standing forward fold, and this scrunches up the back, creates this rounding in the back instead of this nice lifted Uddiyana Bandha forward fold. And so we want to find this nice Goldilocks mean where the toes aren't turned out too much, which also hinders us from going deep into the posture and pushing from the outer edges of the feet. We want the toes to be turning in, the distance to be just right, the hands to be lined up with the toes, and then the elbows nice and lined up. So once again, observing the placement of the hands. We don't want the hands and the elbows to flare out too much. We want to keep them so they don't go too back in space or too forward in space. We don't want the elbows to try and touch the floor either, and the shoulders to scrunch up and cause this tension in the neck. Great. Coming back to Samasthiti. And now we'll have a look at some of the modifications if you're a beginner. First is to use blocks and exhale as you fold forward, or you can use a block just for the forehead and allow the hands to remain on the hips. Make sure that the center of the forehead is touching the block, so adjust according to your flexibility till the point that the block acts as a support but not a dependence. If that feels easy, you can of course bring it to its lowest setting and inhale, coming back up, exhale, come to even standing, Samastitihi. Namaste and thank you for watching.